Good morning and welcome back to another Westies Angling. Let me set the scene for you folks. It's -2 degrees Celsius and this stupid idiot is down here on the River Ribble feeder fishing. I'm fishing right next to the motorway bridge today. I might try a couple of different swims, but this is the first time I've fished the Tickled Trout stretch. So for anybody wondering how you fish the Tickled Trout stretch, you go into the motorway services, which is right behind me here. It's not far to walk from the car. You park on the car park behind the motorway services and you buy your day ticket from the services itself. So you go over to the desk, buy your ticket. It's £8 at the time of filming, £8, and that includes the parking fee as well. I'm fishing 2 rods today. I've got one out on the method feeder and the other one I've got out on like a hybrid maggot cage feeder. So I've got ground bait and maggots in that feeder, and then I've got some leftover method feeder pellets that I'm fishing on the right hand rod, which is a little bit closer to the bridge. I've got them both on a similar line, so I'm hoping that the pellets will kind of wash back downstream. Look, I'm fishing for bites today, not fish. If I get a couple of bites all day, I'll be impressed, because it is freezing. I am ill as well, so I have no idea why I've come down here today doing this, but I thought better than being sat at home feeling sorry for myself, I might as well come have a sit by a river, see if I can get a few silvers on the bank. Who knows? I'm feeling lucky. Sometimes folks, when you get down here, you make the effort, even though you're not fully feeling it, you're rewarded with some really nice fish. I've always found that anyway. It always seems to go that way. So in terms of hook baits, I've got some maggots, I've got some worms with me, and I've also got some sweet corn wafters, which I'm using on the method feeder. I'm using the small core and bolt and run kit on the feeder setup, and I'm actually using a shorter hook length than I normally do. I've shortened it right down to about 1 foot, and like I said, mostly targeting silvers, anything that swims today. You can see the frost on the ground. It's not even early morning folks, it's about, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 10:30 without looking at my phone, and it is still frozen over. All the local lakes are either partially frozen or fully frozen up. So fingers crossed folks, we get a couple of fish on the bank and it makes it worthwhile getting down here today. But if we don't catch, at least we'll have explored the Tickled Trout stretch for when the weather and temperatures start getting a little bit better. Let's see how we get on. Right folks, I think I'm going to have one more cast in this swim and then I'm going to have a mooch downstream, and we'll see if we can find somewhere a little bit quieter and a little bit slower moving, because it is surging through here next to the bridge. The water level is definitely still up from all the rain that we've had. It is coming down a touch. Oh, that was a bite on the sweet corn wafter on the method feeder. This stretch of the Ribble is so wide. That's one of the main reasons for me coming down here today folks, just to have a look at the pegs, have a look at the river at this spot. It's not a cheap day ticket for river fishing. Like I said, it's £8, but it's only the same as a commercial, and we've got just as much chance of catching at this time of year, especially on the maggots and worms. I don't know whether this is a good thing to do or not, but I have been casting to the slack water coming off the back of the bridge there. I think that'd be a great respite to any chub or barbel that are in the area. I think I'm gonna cast the method feeder again on a similar line, and then probably put the feeder maybe 20 foot this way, something like that. Like I said, I'd already bought the bait for this session and then I started getting ill, so I'm not wasting the bait. I'm going to get down here and we're going to give it a go. But I think I deserve a sympathy like for still getting out here and still filming a video for everybody. So hit that like button, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well for me. Right, let's get it in that slack water on the back of the bridge. Perfect. We'll let some line out, get a bit of a bow in the line and tighten up to it. Rolled in bottom there with that 56 gram feeder. Yeah, nothing's even touched the maggots, folks. Now it's touched them. Better put my bait runner on just in case. Don't want my rods getting dragged in by a cheeky winter barbel. Well, I do, but when I'm near them. I say winter, feels like bloody winter. It's not, is it? It's still autumn yet. I want to get this just on the back of that eddy. If I can. Yeah, it's perfect, that. Hope. I'm very close to that floor line there, so yeah, rolled in bottom. Right, let's sort ourselves out here, ready for the move. I'll go down river and we'll try the other swim. Worms have bunched together, that's how cold it is. They're trying to get warm, I think. There's no point just being sat in a swim on a river, folks, if you're not catching. Especially in this kind of temperature. You need to go to the fish, they're not going to come to you. We need to find out where they're held up in this stretch. And hopefully we can get a couple of dace or something. A couple of dace, chub, whatever. My throat, folks, is killing me. What am I doing? I should be at home in bed. Right, we've got everything there, let's go. Let's find somewhere else. So, car park's there. The BP fuel station's here. And then next to it, the Tickled Trout Hotel. So, I can already see it slackening off down here. That looks ordinarily like it would probably be a fishing swim. Like I said, folks, first time I have fished this stretch. Some nice slack water there. Let's keep going though. I'm sure that a lot of this is normally above water. Yeah, it's a nice little slack water spot down there. I might come back to that right after the rapids. So all this water is going to be well oxygenated, which is what fish like. So I would say this is probably a good spot here. But let's keep going. This is the Tickled Trout on the left. There's a couple of people fishing here. Yeah, all this, folks, is definitely normally above water. This looks like a nice little spot near the bridge on the back end of the bend. So it shallows up here by the looks of it towards the bridge. And then after the bridge you've got a set of rapids. Well, it looks really shallow going across there, so I think we're better just coming this way a touch. Spidey senses are tingling on this one, folks. There we go, sturdy enough. I'll have a brew in a minute. Get the bait out. You might be thinking, Westy, you shouldn't be using wafters on a river, use natural bait. Well, I know a few people that have actually done really well on rivers using my wafters. So let's cap it with some of this Groundbait. I really want to squeeze that in tight. Kind of want to be getting it in a similar spot every time, so I'm going to aim to the right of that bush on the far bank and give it a furrow wallop here. Look at that. Cast like a dream. So obviously Tickled Trout stretch. Good for barbel, chub, dace. And I believe that even river carp make it this far up. Sometimes. So you have a chance of anything really. So this is a 60 gram. Let's see what other feeders I've brought. That's my 5 ounce, 60 gram. And it's gonna have to be one of the big boys, I think. I think I'm just about holding bottom with 60 gram today. I just need one fish now, folks, to save the blank. Blanking session on the River Ribble. I can see the title now. What an idiot. Should have stayed in bed. But what a lovely day it is. Look at that. It's bloody freezing, but the sun's out. And I don't know about you lot, but when you're ill, it makes you feel a bit better when you're outside with some fresh air. That's what I've found anyway. Come on. Just need one fish, dace, roach, chub, anything. Hate posting blanking videos. I know you guys still like watching videos even though I blank. You like keeping up with me and seeing what I'm up to. But I do lose a lot of subscribers if I blank on a video, believe it or not. I think some people think, well, what's the point in posting? You're blanking, but it's real, it's fishing. That's the reason that a lot of these fishing YouTubers will either, I don't know, swap onto pike or perch, or just completely give up doing videos through the winter. Because it gets tough and you get a lot of criticism as well. If people see you blanking, oh, you should have tried this, you should have tried that, should have gone there, should have done this. But at the end of the day, you set your stall out to try something and you've got to stick to your guns. I wanted to come here, I wanted to have a look at this stretch. It's a lovely stretch of river. Oh. I'm in, folks. It's fighting back, this one as well. Must be a chub. Oh, see, my heart's going. This is what I mean, it's worth it. Check me drag, we're all right. It must be a chub, folks. Let's get in the river. Where's the net? Come on, save the blank. What is it? Oh, it's a nice chub. Really good chub. I think this is a PB for me, actually. Oh, wow. Come on. Come on. It's in. Oh, folks, look at the size of this chub. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to weigh it. Let's put it in the margin down there. This is what I mean. He's got a PB. He's been rewarded. The fishing gods are smiling on me, on the maggots. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at that chub. Oh wow. I'm gonna have to weigh it because it's a PB. Just hooked. Look at the depth on it. It is a monster chub. Look at that mouth. Happy days. I knew I'd get rewarded today if I braved the cold, even though I'm ill. What a cracker. Let's weigh it. I've just got it resting down here in the margin. So I've got these handy little scales here. They are accurate. I've had them in my river bag, so let's weigh it in the net and then we'll weigh the net. If I had to estimate, I'd probably say it was about 4.5, 5 pound. So it's 5.5 pound with the net. So we'll weigh the net in a bit, but it's probably about, I don't know, net probably weighs about 3/4 pound, a pound. I can't believe it. Look at that beast. Straight back like a rocket. Oh. Just missed a bite on the method feeder as well. So it was about 4.5 pounds, that chub. I can't tell you how made up I am with that, folks. But I think I've just lost a really good fish. Oh my God. If the chub are feeding, there's no reason why the barbel won't be. Let's get the rods back out. A lot of geese on the way to Brockles Nature Reserve, probably, which is across the river. Gonna give it another 5-10 minutes and then probably recast. I like to make my rigs a bit like a Medusa rig when I'm fishing maggots. I'll put loads on. I feel like you definitely single out the bigger fish when you do that. Just keeping an eye on that other rod. Put the bait runner on. I'll definitely know about it if a barbel slam that down. Well, we've had one bite on the method feeder and one bite on the hybrid feeder with the longer hook length. So at the minute the tide, but it does tell me that it doesn't really matter about the length of the hook length, not on the Ribble anyway. But seeing as we've had bites in this swim, I'll probably stay here now for the rest of the day until I pack up. There's no point in me going to that other swim if we know that there's fish here feeding. Fingers crossed we have another. But even if I don't have another fish, I'm chuffed with that chub. Well worth coming out for. Well, I think I might try worm on the next chuck on the feeder rig. I've brought them, so I might as well use them. Spread myself out here. These scales are spot on. I might actually get some of these for the website. Impressed with them so far. When you don't want to be carrying your big weighing scales around, they're ideal for like canal sessions, river sessions. I've tried to minimize my tackle as much as possible. Even the filming equipment, I've just condensed everything down. I've got all sorts of baits with me, folks. Honestly, I've got some big halibut pellets for barbel. What else have I got? All kinds of wafters. Got pepper army with me. Might actually try a piece of pepper army on the next cast on the method feeder. Obviously we can band it. Probably cut it into a half segment and we'll go with worms on the left. Obviously it's bigger fish that are in this swim, it seems anyway, so we might as well swap to slightly bigger hook baits and try for something that's a little bit bigger. Let's see if I've got some heavier duty hook lengths. That's a decent rig. So I think the tickled trout stretch is definitely on the list of places to try in spring, probably just before the river season shuts. And then there's also a couple of other places that I want to try over the coming weeks as well and explore. It's just like anything, folks, it's finding the time to get out there and do it. I want to try and get out and do some dead baiting for pike as well over the next couple of weeks. Do we go with worms or do we go with pepper army? Let's try worms first. We've got time. Got time to try them both. So let's go 3 worms. I'm actually going to put the feeder in a semi-fixed position. I've lost the hybrid part of my hybrid feeder, so it's now just another cage feeder. Which is not ideal, but let's cram them in. Well, there's one issue that I've noticed with this swim, and that's the smell coming from the tickled trout. Making me hungry as hell. Let me give you a little bit of Westies angling advice here, folks. When people tell you that you need to scale down or you won't catch, in my opinion, it is utter rubbish. What those people won't tell you is how many times they get broken and how many fish they lose because they're fishing too weak. You might as well fish heavier and not lose fish. All right, you might get an handful less silvers, but if you hook something decent, you're always in for a chance of getting it in. Maybe that's just a specimen hunter in me, but it's what I've always found. It's never stopped me catching the smaller fish using slightly bigger hooks and slightly heavier line, especially if you're using new style line as your hook lengths, like Guru Engage. It's very, very low diameter, so a 12-pound hook length would be as thick as, for example, a 7-pound main line would be. So you might as well fish slightly heavier hook lengths because it's still supple, it's still fine. Pretty sure I'm in here, folks. Feels solid. Strange fight to it. It's another chub, another good one. Oh, absolutely solid. Oh. Another one, folks. It might even be bigger, this one. On the worms, and this was just slightly further out. I cast that, so putting that heavier feeder on, that 5-ounce feeder, has just helped me get that bit further out. Let's get it unhooked. Look at the size of that chub. They're a proper stamp. Look at the bellies on them. I'm going to give it a quick weigh and then we'll get it back. It's hard to get a scale for the fish on the GoPro, folks, but this is a massive net. So the fish with the net is 6 pound 1 ounce. So that's a new PB. That's probably just over 5, tiny bit over 5 pound. I know it's not a record breaker as far as chub go, but for me, that is just amazing. When I'm feeling ill, I'm feeling crappy, that's proper cheer me up. Gone. Chub City. Let's get it back out. That was an awful cast, nowhere near far enough out. You're right. Massive drop back. After that drop back, I'll probably give it 5 or 10 minutes, just in case the fish moves back onto it. But other than that, I'll recast it, I think. You never know whether the fish has ripped all the worms off or whatever. Well, all my worms are still on. That was a strange one. Maybe a bit of debris hit it and it bounced it off. Who knows? Who knows what's happening down there, folks, huh? Got loads of bait left over there. I'll put that in the old freezer shit mix when I get home. for another session. Last cast. Unless we get a fish. Well folks, we're actually going to start losing the light soon, and that temperature has absolutely plummeted. So I think before I catch death of cold, I'm going to get packed up, head back down to the car. But I'm so glad that I came out today. Beat my PB twice in one day. So it's been really worth coming out. Sub-zero temperatures, but we've still managed to get a couple of nice fish on the bank. So I just want to say, if you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you click that bell icon as well. That way you won't miss another Westies Angling video. And if you've got any questions about anything that I've done today, about the tickled trout stretch, about how you pay, about the gear that I'm using, anything, drop a comment in the comment section, guys. I always try and get back to questions where I can. So I'll see you in the next Westies Angling. Who knows what we're going to be doing next? Something different every week. But I've really enjoyed today, so maybe we'll come back on the river. Who knows? I'll see you next time, folks.